Hey Deckers, we've got a lot to cover in our Performance Roundup today, including Universim, how well Enshrouded is working on the Steam Deck, Atelier Resleriana Forgotten Alchemy, Pinball, and also a new survival of Strive the Light. Now, before we get into that, just an update for you. If you have got the Tekken 8 disconnect issue, Proton Hotfix has been updated to fix this issue, and also Proton GE also got an extra patch, GE Proton 829, so that will now fix that issue if you are still playing on deck. Now on to the performance updates. Unfortunately, Enshrouded is really not running very well on the Steam Deck. Even with our best settings and best kind of balance to make it not completely blurry as hell, to be able to play this is still only getting it around 20 to 25 frames per second. Now, believe it or not, it is actually playable at this, although it's not the best. It is pretty stable, so if you do really want to play at these settings, you can. However, it is also on GeForce Now, and if you want a guide of how to play GeForce Now on the Steam Deck, then I'll leave that in the comments below. But as you can see from this footage, it still is a little bit stuttery on the Steam Deck, depending on your stream. I think I had some people streaming on our network at the same time here. But you can run this at completely max settings on the Ultimate tier, and it looks absolutely gorgeous on the Steam Deck OLED, and it will also on the LCD as well. And as you can see side by side, especially as we run through a heavy enshrouded area here, the difference is absolutely amazing. So if you do want to get the most out of Enshrouded, then you want to either wait for some patches and hopefully for some performance updates on the Steam Deck, or use GeForce Now to play that on deck. Of course, it's all about battery life if you do stream, and that brings us on to the sponsor of today's video, INUI. And these make fantastic chargers. They sent me a couple to try and to cover in this segment. So first one is a mag mount portable. This will charge an iPhone 14 about once, but is fantastic to use as a stand as well if you just want to charge it either overnight or while you're working. And my new favorite charger at this time is the INUI 140 watt output. Takes 100 watt in and also has an extra USB and USB-C segmented out at a 24 watt dual output or 45 watt single, and has a fantastic display. Now, a little bonus with this display, and what I absolutely love, is you press and hold the power button, it goes from this simple mode into this advanced mode and actually shows you the wattage output and then roughly how long the battery will last at that charge rate. Now, obviously this takes a little while to settle, especially with phones, as they seem to up and down on their charge rates. But this is fantastic for making sure that things are charging at the rates that you want. As you saw, it was running at 45 watts charging the Steam Deck there. This did charge the Steam Deck once at 80% for a full battery charge, and then around the 20% for the second charge. With the LCD, it charged almost twice. Check out the links below if you want to pick this one up. It's available on Amazon. So back to the games, and huge thanks to Pinball Studios for sending over Slot Shots Ultimate ahead of its release in February. This is running absolutely fantastically on the Steam Deck. As you can see, it will get around 90 frames per second on the OLED, so a good solid 60 on the Steam Deck LCD with various modes for the overview, whether you want close play or overview. And this really did show up the input latency of my screen recorder, so trust me, it's absolutely flawless on the Steam Deck and fantastic to play, with tons of pinball machines to choose from, and will be available for public release on the 6th of February. On to Atelier Resleriana Forgotten Alchemy. Apologies Koei Tecmo if I butchered that name, which is the latest free-to-play in the Atelier series. Although it has unknown status on the Steam Deck at the moment, it does run absolutely flawlessly. Doesn't quite hold 60 frames per second on the highest graphic settings, as it does flick around during a lot of those battle scenes, but not one that you really need to worry about it. This also doesn't have a mapping or controller mapping or even controller support, but you only ever really need a mouse in this one, and you can obviously use the touchscreen as well. Although it is full of microtransactions as a free-to-play title, this is a gacha style game, so if you want to get your kind of Genshin fix or mobile gaming type fix, then this is definitely one to dive into, but it does have stamina limits and recovery, as well as those wishes for unlocking new characters, so be warned if you do dive into this one, but it does run fantastically well. Next up is Striving Light Survival. Huge thanks again for sending us a key to test this one out via Keymailer, and has been a fantastic addition to the Steam Deck. Again, running at a fantastic 90 frames per second solid on the Steam Deck OLED, and a good 60 on the Steam Deck LCD. This seems like a massive mashup across Vampire Survivors, Hall of Torment, and also Brotato, where we have a wave style mechanism, tons of abilities and maps to choose from and level up, as well as the characters, but you also have a skill tree thrown in so that you can level up certain abilities during your game and try to get to the 20th wave. Now, a little addition to this is, rather than you getting the extra bonus when the round finishes, anything that you don't collect turns into elite monsters next time for every times 10. So if you miss 20 of the pickups, you'll get 2 extra elite monsters in the next round. Overall, fantastic to play, and it does get very hectic in the later series, where it does drop down a little bit on those frames, but you're not really going to be paying attention to that. Last up today is the Universim. Again, huge thanks for giving us a key to test this one out with the 1.0 release, and I must say I've been extremely addicted to this one. If you have been looking for a black and white style game to scratch that itch, then this is it. Or Black and White 2 for those that played it. This certainly gives those vibes. Now, we have also released our own controller layout for this one, based on one of the community layouts that was there, but we've tweaked it a fair amount to bring up some of the controller options and also to make the scrolling in and out a little bit smoother. Now, you have creator effects where you can pretend to be God. You can even pick up characters and move them around or heal people in true black and white style, but be careful who you chuck in the grinder, because it might not always be the most popular decision, but hey, we've got to get those creator points somehow. This is a game that you can easily lose a couple of hours in, and as you saw, I was running this on kind of the medium graphics, and we're only getting around 40 to 50 frames per second. But to be honest, it's not a fast-paced game, and you want that nice balance between the two to be able to play this one. And once you get used to the controls, you are going to be piling through the hours to get into the next section. You start off in the Stone Age, and you can even end up in the space race, having a hugely advanced civilization, providing you look after your nuggets. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be diving into this one. Certainly is one that I lost quite a few hours in, and I really do hope that they bring back black and white in some kind of form in future. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.